So when singularity...
It's a privilege to have you at Clearing the Brow.
Thank you.
And
Pleased to be here.
And before we start the topical discussion, as we always do, we have a rapid fire for you.
Oh, okay, fine.
So what's your favorite invention of all time?
Internet.
Wow.
Okay. And if you had to start HCL all over again in 2025, what industry would you choose or what problem would you like to solve?
I would love to be a singer.
Okay.
An AI singer?
No? Real singer.
You will train me. Awesome. And I know you're associated with quantum computing. And if you have to just make it as simple as probably a word or a sentence, how would you describe quantum computing?
See, in the case of a normal computer, it works on binary, 0 or 1. Either the state is 0 or 1. In the case of quantum, you can have 0 and 1. So what that does is that it makes it much, much faster for specific applications. Quantum is not used for classical work like accounting, etc. It's meant for drug discovery and climate change, etc., etc. So, like more advanced applications.
Awesome. What excites you more, 1000-qubit quantum computer or an AGI breakthrough?
I wouldn't be satisfied with a 1000-qubit computer for quantum. I would like to dream about 500,000.
Wow. Okay. And the boldest tech prediction that you're willing to make right now?
Singularity. Singularity, for those who don't understand, is that at some stage, the futurologists are predicting that the computer and the brain will join together. It's also called AGI and AI, right, but it's way beyond AGI. So when singularity happens, literally you won't need to learn anything. Anything that you want to know can be actually downloaded into your brain. So it's something that, many futurologists have been talking about, but I think singularity is going to happen in the next 15 years. And when it happens, the interesting part is that at that stage, you can even decide to live forever.
And you can store your memories and you can play it as
it's
people
like
with age.
If you go back to the old computers where you used to have disks, floppy disks, etc. You could take a floppy disk with all your intelligence and memory and whatever you want to learn, just put in a floppy disk into a computer and upload into the CPU. It'll be something pretty similar to this. So that's really what I feel will happen.
So we can download our consciousness and then upload it to something else.
Anything. Yes. You could take the DNA of your father and put it into an avatar.
Yeah.
Of course, these are all things for the much in the future, but it's not that far away.
Tech prediction.
It's 15 years away. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Awesome. So that was a wonderful rapid fire section. Great start to our podcast. We shall now move to a more detailed discussion. You're often referred to as the father of Indian hardware. Looking back at HCL's beginnings in 1976, what was the biggest leap of faith you and your co-founders took? Right, and how did the philosophy of aspiration is greater than resources, how did that guide you?
Well, basically, microprocessor was just making its appearance. And we felt if we took the microprocessor, we would help change the world. So that's what our dream was. And as we went forward, one of the things that happened was that this whole concept of A is greater than R is something that my guru, Dr. 𝘀𝗶𝗵𝘂𝗏 taught me in his class. And what that means is that if you have the aspiration, resources will happen.
Right.
Which is actually the story of HCL. What did we have when we started? Nobody knew that what a startup was. All we had was 1.86 lakhs among 6 of us. And what have we created? A $14 billion global corporation. So that is A is greater than R.
Awesome.
And from building microcomputers in 1970 to witnessing AI today, how has your own definition of breakthrough technology changed and evolved over a period of time?
See, the breakthrough technology is actually a dream, or in a manner, something that I can't even imagine today. But I would say that singularity, which I talked about earlier, is going to be the biggest breakthrough for the world. Because when a lot of these kind of things will happen, we will be able to overcome disease. We will be able to have literally a nanobot enter our blood stream and fix any problem that we have in any of the cells. So these kind of things are likely to happen, and this is something that really fascinates me, because these kind of things have not been thought of till now, but it will happen. And as some of the futurologists say, you may have to sometime take a decision once all these things happen, whether you want to live forever or not. That decision, I think the next generation will be able to take. At my generation, I won't see that. But next generation, they will have to seriously think whether they want to live 150, 200, 300 years.
Like they say, I mean, it's like sequence of many small innovations finally adds up to what we end up seeing it as a breakthrough technology.
Yes,
and exactly like what you're saying, we are seeing each of those building blocks, which will lead to eventually the similarity which you're talking about.
Correct.
And I heard this quote somewhere that today we have technologies of the gods, right? And something seems to be coming from the future, but we have mindsets from the medieval times, right? So I'm going to switch gears a little bit to talk about maybe challenges that we have that we need to overcome to be able to see that vision. So as the chair of National Quantum Mission, and you spoke about what quantum computing is, you are leading India's push into the second quantum revolution. Maybe a little bit of background on what was the first revolution and what is the significance of the second revolution? What challenges do we have to overcome?
See, the first generation was literally classical computers. And the second generation of quantum was very much around physics. And quantum is actually defined as spooky physics. You really don't know what is going to happen to a particle. A particle could be sitting here and communicating with a particle sitting in China, and no issues. So this is really what is quantum mechanics and quantum technology. Now, when I look at the next generation of what we are trying to do from the quantum mission, is that we want to create many products. And the biggest challenge that we face is that we have to get it delivered through scientists.
Right.
Now, we have close to about 750 scientists in quantum technologies today in the country. And the quantum mission is actually given them specific targets to achieve. 1 year, 2 year, 4 year, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. My challenge that I feel is that most scientists are not used to taking targets. They are very happy writing papers, but they're not happy creating products. So that's the change that we are bringing in National Quantum Mission. When we launched it with all the scientists sitting in a big hall, the first thing I said, guys, you got to change. You need to think about products rather than writing papers. Now, this challenge still remains. I'm very concerned that this particular mindset is not yet there. And it's something that I want to keep pushing.
Right. So the science meets technology and possibly products and business models.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's when it becomes usable.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't stay, I mean, in our technology business, we call it, TRL1 to TRL4 to TRL9, technology readiness levels.
Yeah.
So most scientists in the world will take you from TRL1 to TRL4, TRL5. We want to go TRL9 and have a product in the market.
Right.
That's what is important. Humanity is not going to get the benefit of computing or quantum unless we actually create products.
Right.
But like you just said, sorry, another question that I have is, obviously scientists are doing what they're doing, but you are pushing them to think of how these research can lead to a product creation.
Yes.
On the other side, you have set of people who have a good product mindset, but they do not really have a deep research insight. So while we love them to come together, but is there a way in which this can get bridged and this ecosystem can come
there is
together?
a way of bridging it. For example, when we started the National Quantum Mission, I was very clear that startups have to be very much at the center of it all, in addition to scientists.
Right.
And therefore, because, startups will take risks and they will also do more innovation, faster. They'll be more agile, which is why from the beginning, we promoted the whole idea of startups. And we created a startup program in quantum, which is unheard of in government. So, for example, we give around 30 odd crores to each startup, up to 30 crores or 50 crores also. But against that, we don't ask you to ke aap apna ghar girvi rakh do. We say, okay, when you go for an exit, you give the government an opportunity to get the stock at 30% discount. So we actually overcame the objections of the finance department within the Department of Science and Technology, and they were very, very good about it. They agreed to this suggestion. And so it's a very unique concept that we've created. Now, when you want to marry industry and research, the best model is something that has been done in IISc by 𝗀𝗁𝗂𝗂𝗃𝗂𝗃.
Right.
He's created this Brain Research Institute.
Yes.
And what is that? That is fundamentally a concept that was created in Japan, which is called focused research organizations, where you actually bring industry and you bring research. They jointly work on a problem and go and solve that problem.
Oh, brilliant. I think we will just get into another topic, which is a very hot topic globally. That's largely on the chip and semiconductor side. And I think we all know that semiconductors aren't monolith. So there are chains with 4 distinct links. And today in the global geopolitical scenario, each of the links today are sitting in different places, right? From chip design to, of course, the foundry and fabrication to packaging, assembly, and then testing. We know that India has a reasonably large talent. 20% of our talent is involved one way or other into the chip design. But I think what is broken is definitely on the fabrication to connecting it into the packaging and testing. Keeping obviously some of the concerns that we are going to live with. I don't think there is any quick silver bullet out of it. But how do you see India should look ahead, maybe next 3 to 4 years or 5 years, into building a reasonably strong ecosystem around all these 4 pillars?
Well, as even our minister has quoted, that it's a 10-year journey. We've started on that journey a few years ago. And I think it'll probably take 20 years to get to something really, really solid as far as semiconductors is concerned. But we look at all our capability today is in design. What we are trying to do is manufacturing.
Yeah.
Manufacturing capability does not exist. So that's something that we are creating. But the design capability is something that we should work much faster on. Yes. So my suggestion to the government has been that we should look at the whole ecosystem. It should be looked at as electronics and semiconductors, not just semiconductors. So what does that mean? What that means is that we should look at a system. System could be a CCTV, could be a computer, could be a laptop, could be anything. Secondly, the chip. Thirdly is the fab, where you actually start to make products from it, make chips from it. Then next stage is packaging. But a very important part of all of this is market. Now today, if we look at our semiconductor ecosystem, the fab part, the government is already taking care of very, very well. I think they will very much succeed there. But the previous part is still to be done. It's work in progress. So what needs to be done is that we need to make more systems in this country. Today, our challenge in this area is that we are totally import dependent. So if you look at it, China literally rules the hardware market globally.
Yes.
So everything electronics is Chinese today. I mean, we started many years ago with our own computers. We started many years ago with our own phones. Everything has been overtaken by China in this country. So we've literally laid out the red carpet for China to come in and rule us with hardware. In some manners, I may be a bit controversial, but in some manners, it looks like East India Company coming back. This is not good for the country. So we need to definitely go from system to chip, system, module, chip, fab, and assembly and packaging and market. How do you create the market? What the world has always done is when a particular product is available in the country, they ban the import of those products. And that automatically creates the market. So that is what the government should do as we start to design chips for India. We need to ban import of Chinese chips. If we do that, the market will open up dramatically. And what it will do to the whole semiconductor ecosystem is that the world will start looking at India very seriously, because there is a chip market in India. Today, there is no chip market in India. We say we have a very large semiconductor demand. All of that demand is met by imports. We do nothing. And when the fabs get going, where are they going to get their business from? We'll be dependent on the United States or Europe or other countries to give us business. Not if tomorrow Europe says that they do not want to buy chips from any other country, and they put blocks on it. They put some duty on it, something like that. What will we do? So I think to be technologically sovereign, we need to have a deep electronics industry from system to market. And this is one part of the story.
Yes.
The other part of the story is software.
No, absolutely. And I fully resonate that before we make it for the world, first we make it for ourselves.
Yes.
And
today, all our designers work for the world.
Right.
And they are therefore very, very good. They are designing NVIDIA, they're designing Intel, they're designing AMD, they're designing Qualcomm sitting here.
And I've heard in your previous interviews, you speak about India developing its own Qualcomm.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it's possible, because we've actually already done it for others. Why can't we do it for ourselves?
Also, I think just another supplementary question. While government, like you said, there is an intent, there is a push and an urgency, but it needs beyond what government can do, right? So the enterprises and between the research part that you just highlighted, and obviously getting the ecosystem again to
you see,
come into fast track.
The way I look at it is that the capability in design is so huge in this country. Lots of GCCs are sitting with brilliant designers. A lot of those designers can come out of there and start companies of their own and make chips for India. So the government has created a scheme called the DLI scheme, which is a design linked incentive scheme. Now in that, they had planned to give 30 crores per chip. My suggestion to the government has been increase that to 100 to 200 crores, so that more and more designers can make better and better chips in India. And I think we should not restrict it to startups alone.
Yeah.
Because startups do not have the funding capability or the money capability to create a more advanced chip. So we should open up it to corporates and SMEs and startups. So the government is very seriously looking at that as ISM 2.0 happens. Somewhere around November, December, they are going to announce ISM 2.0. And I can see all the signs of that, because the Honorable Minister, I think about 4-5 months ago, said, we will make 30 Indian chips. We have decided to do that. So, these kind of things are happening. But we need to realize that semiconductors sitting at the center of everything.
Absolutely.
If you look at Operation Sindoor, if we didn't have semiconductors, we couldn't have fought anybody.
Right.
So many years ago, one of the intelligence senators in America, Ben Salasy, said that the next wars will be fought with semiconductors, and that's true.
Right. Today there's a chip war going on, and Deepak and I, we've been having a lot of conversations around AI, and I want to ask a question on that in terms of compute required for AI. So this is a data point that we came across. Maybe you can validate this one. So apparently India has about 18,000 GPUs, and maybe Grok, Elon Musk's LLM, has about 1 million plus individually, right? Just at one company. So when it comes to placing our bets, you talk about strategic autonomy. Strategy is, where do you play and how do you win? So where should India be placing its bets with respect to LLMs, with all the challenges we have on hardware? Should we be pursuing that dream to develop our own indigenous stuff, or should we be picking our battles elsewhere?
You see, my view is that for technology sovereignty, you have to have both software and hardware.
Yeah.
So we've just discussed hardware, electronics and semiconductors. For software, what do we have? We have DPI. Okay, DPI has been a fantastic breakthrough for the country.
Yeah.
Inside that is sitting UPI, Aadhaar, and all the products. It's a complete India stack.
Yeah.
But beyond that, we have nothing. So we need to start very seriously working on creating our own products.
Yeah.
And for example, Zoho has been sitting with certain products and we have never encouraged them.
Absolutely.
We've just ignored them and kept importing all kinds of products. Why should we continue to do that? Because we don't know when any sanctions can happen. And therefore, to protect ourselves in future, for technology sovereignty, we need to have a full software stack. So we should have our own, operating system. We should have our own, cloud computing. Everything that you can think of, which is currently all imported, is something that we must have on our own. China has everything, if you can think of.
That's right.
They do not depend on imports. So what that does is that we need to be very clear that the world is no longer about how many armaments you have. World is all about what technology you own.
Right.
And the wars will be fought with technology. Economics is guided by technology. And geopolitics is also guided by technology.
Right.
So we need to have technology of our own. And unless we actually take a view that in the next 5 years, we will have all the technologies that are required in software also, I think we will be self-sufficient. See, this Atmanirbhar word, people have not really understood.
Correct.
Atmanirbhar means it's your own. So even in Make in India that was talked about, people, if some global company came and manufactured here, it became a Make in India. That's not right. What is the value addition that is happening in the country? How much design have we actually done? It has to be designed to manufacture rather than just manufacture. And I think one of the key things the government is missing on is that they do not encourage innovations in terms of giving business to them. So a startup or a company that creates products in India, designs products in India, should get preference over imports. So maybe 50% or 75% of government business should go to innovations done in India rather than keep importing and not helping the startups or the innovators in India. This is how DARPA created America.
Right.
This is how UK, they took a very strong view that public money must go into private. Okay, there are a lot of economists sitting in America in UK today who actually say that it is very important for public money to go into R&D and private sector. This thought has been far away from our thinking till now.
So just to, I think, as you were saying, I was thinking of, instead of made in India, I think it's more about innovate, design and make in India.
Absolutely correct.
I think that get the full value chain of learning and knowledge and not just manufacturing part of it.
And give them benefits. If you actually give them government business and you can help them scale, make them big, they'll go to the world. We must take our products to the world. We can't just be sitting here and saying we'll make for India only.
We don't want to be the factories of the world. Neither we can. So I think the idea is how do we use our
That's how China did it, They initially they copied, they stole, they did all kinds of things.
And acquired the capabilities. Now they are on their own.
They are designers, they are innovators. They are the product factory of the world. They are not the manufacturers of the world.
Absolutely.
And one trend that we are picking up as well is how India needs to focus on R&D on the one hand, and the other on marketing as well. And to the point that you're making right now, we seem to be holding ourselves back on both of these fronts. Would you agree with that in general?
100%. As a matter of fact, our investment into R&D by private sector is pathetic. So some of us got together and went to the government and said, why don't you do exactly what the US and UK and other countries have done? Copy that model. Take public money and put it into private sector. So the good news is that the government has come out with this RDI scheme. And under RDI scheme, the Prime Minister said, I'll give you 1 lakh crore for 50 years interest free. Now that's much more than 1 lakh crore. Now that is under implementation today through Department of Science and Technology. And they are the right place where it should be because they understand science and technology. Now what they have been authorized to do is to put money into private sector and don't ask questions if results don't happen. Risks will get taken. Some of them will fail, some of them will work. But the ones that work will make products for India and the world. And this R&D is something which is essential for us to take us away from the situation of $2,600 per person GDP to 20,000, 50,000. Today, America is sitting at 90,000. I mean, where are we? $2,600 per person GDP. So I think with the kind of brain power we have in the country. We have much bigger capability to create products in India, design things in India, innovate in India and take it to the world. Today, if an Indian engineer or a scientist gets into any company in the world, they're damn scared. Because he or she will be better than who they are.
Yeah.
True.
But also, just like you mentioned, government is encouraging private sector, but just like government insisted private sectors or all institutions put a certain part of their revenue into CSR, do you think through some policy intervention even that could be achieved where Indian enterprises also start to allocate some part of their revenues back into the R&D to be more future ready?
It is something that is possible and the government can do it, but you could even start by saying out of the CSR money that you are putting away, make sure that 1% goes into CSR, 1% goes into R&D being done by anyone else, not necessarily yourself.
Right.
Yeah, because there's so many brilliant institutions, people are looking for that access to capital. And I think if that money is made available, probably that can fast track.
Money is not the problem in our country. Policy and strategy is more important.
Misallocation of...
Yes.
Absolutely. So the Epic Foundation that you co-founded has enabled India's first LED driver IC and memory card production. So beyond these, what other disruptive applications of semiconductor innovation, what excites you the most in this area?
See, Epic was created with one objective, making India an electronics product nation. As simple as that. Whatever it takes, we will do. So we went and talked to all the LED manufacturers and said, why are you importing your chips from China? We can get it done in India. So we enabled that to happen. And we worked with a design company and worked with a manufacturing company. And today you have a driver chip that is being sold in India and sold abroad. So what we want to do is not just work on product creation. We want to encourage startups to create newer electronic products.
Right.
So we at any stage of in our company, we have 30, 40 hardware startups that actually we are helping. So we help them on GTM, how to go to market. We help them on funding. We help them on connections. You know, okay, do you know somebody in Mahindra's? Okay, yeah, we'll connect you to Mahindra's. So this is the kind of support that we are providing. But in addition to that, we are also working a lot on policy and regulation. So this strategy of product to market that I talked about in semiconductors and electronics is something that Epic has actually gone and presented to the government. And fortunately, the government was listening and wants to take it forward. And even about startups, for example, we've identified the pain points of startups. So what are the pain points of startups? Number one pain point is that when they get government business also, which comes not easily, but when they get government business, let's say one of my startups got an order for 11 crores from defense. The defense said, give me 9 crores bank guarantee. That's crazy. The guy doesn't have the limits for bank guarantee. How can he put bank guarantee? So the only way he can put a bank guarantee is put 9 crores in the bank and take a bank guarantee. That means he's actually using his equity money for a bank guarantee. So this is something that we are working on today. We are giving suggestions to the government how we can overcome this. The second point is, when the government gives them a lot of business, let's say they give them a 300 crore business, which some of my startups have got. They don't have the money to actually have availability of buying components and having credit limits, etc. They don't have credit limits available at all. So what we are saying is that we should make startups also have credit limits and create a model that's been created already for SMEs.
Yeah.
So why can't we use the same SME model for startups? Okay. So these are some of the things that startups today want to see happen. Example, ESOP today. ESOP today, the policy is not the correct policy for India. As a result of which, a lot of startups flip to the rest of the world because their ESOPs are much easier. Here, what happens with ESOPs is that when a stock is given to various workers in the organization, moment it gets vested, they have to pay tax.
Right.
They don't have the cash flow to pay tax.
Yes.
So what we are telling the government is that when they sell stock, that's when you ask them to pay tax, not when it gets vested. So these are some of the things that through EPIC we are trying to actually promote with the government and get policies corrected so that the future is brighter for electronic startups. My first priority is electronic startups as far as EPIC is concerned.
Awesome.
Awesome. And I think we cannot leave a conversation without bringing AI back in the room. And I think as we are all seeing AI everywhere, I think one of the things is becoming extremely important is how AI is getting integrated into hardware, electronic manufacturing, sensors, edge networks, semiconductors, even from the risk of the cybersecurity, as we have been seeing the power stations and how some of these are becoming extremely vulnerable. So how do you see the roadmap of AI getting integrated into the hardware, electronics and the manufacturing side of it?
See, AI is going to be a tool that we can use in anything that we want. We need to learn how to use it. Okay, that's what's required. Now, when I look at combination of AI and quantum, is going to be the biggest breakthrough that you can think of. Because AI and quantum together will actually solve many, many problems of the world than either quantum on its own or AI can solve. Okay, so let's say a drug discovery today takes 15 years. AI and quantum coming together maybe will reduce it to 4 to 5 years. Just imagine what the impact of that will be on the cost of drugs.
Right.
Cost of drugs is one part. Secondly, faster drug discovery means the companies can bet on more and more molecules to check out.
Yes.
So they can do more at the same cost and the same time period that was possible earlier.
And
So I think-
personalization of medicine.
Yes.
As well.
So all these things will actually make AI and quantum very much part of our lives. If I look at 5 years from now, it will be quite a big breakthrough that I think of when we look at the future.
Even intelligent factories, sensors, the way we manufacture, produce things, I think a lot of those, I probably would see the factories of the future would look very different. And
You know,
I
a
think-
lot of people just think of AI alone. I would like you to think about quantum as well.
Right.
Because you want cybersecurity, the best cybersecurity can only be provided by quantum. Because if a good quantum computer, powerful quantum computer is sitting in China, they will break all your current cybersecurity. So what we are doing in the National Quantum Mission is coming out with a policy and telling people, be prepared for the quantum era, make yourself quantum secure.
Absolutely.
So quantum security is going to be the highest level agenda for the country, in my mind.
So coming from banking and financial service background where I spent more than 20 years, I think that's one thing that always worries me, both from security, because some of our current password and authentication is very archaic. The way
None
it's
of
got
those
desi-
things will...
Can be easily broken by
and-
quantum.
all your RSA codes will get broken.
Absolutely.
And therefore, finance industry is the first one globally that's adopting to quantum now already. Many banks in the United States have already started adopting quantum, in Europe also. And in India, I must tell you, I went and made a presentation to RBI, and they are seriously looking at quantum, and a policy should come out from RBI also. I would encourage RBI to come out with a policy that every bank and financial institution should start adopting quantum now, not later. Reason for it is very simple.
Yeah.
There is a concept which is called, what they do is that all the fellows who want to crack you will take all your data today. They can't crack it today.
Yeah.
But moment quantum is available, they'll crack it. So they'll save this data and keep it for 2 years later, and then they'll crack it. So they'll know everything about
Absolutely.
you. But even today, in one of the reported incidents in this area, F5 data, the aircraft F5 data is already available
Okay.
with fellows who want to break it. But they've taken it They're not able to break it today, but when quantum becomes available, they crack it. So the point I'm trying to say is that everybody thinks quantum is too far away. It's wrong.
We need to think about it right
No,
now.
absolutely. And I think fraudsters and the networks will be faster to adopt and move before enterprises would get in there. So
Totally true.
And terrorists too.
Yes.
absolutely.
And I like the idea of using AI and quantum together. So one of the things that I'm closely following is the whole scaling laws with AI, right? So far, whatever we've seen with OpenAI and other things is they've been, scaling compute. But already it seems like we are starting to hit some limits, especially with respect to power and other infrastructure needed. Now, without quantum, it seems like we might not be able to scale that further. Would that be an accurate
I would agree with you
Yeah.
because quantum is going to support scaling.
Right.
And a lot of people feel that you may not need so many GPUs when you have a mix of quantum and existing regular compute together.
Right.
So a hybrid of quantum and concurrent compute will actually take care of two issues. One, scaling, and the other issue of heat.
Yes.
So the climate issue is also a very major problem.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
So how many data centers which will eat up all our power and water are you going to have?
Right.
So quantum computing may offer some solutions there because some of the quantum computers that are coming up with different technologies can work in normal temperature.
Right.
If you look at superconducting quantum computers, they'll work on very low temperature. But if you look at semiconductor-based or photonic-based or diamond-based, they all work on normal temperature. So there are these kind of things that are happening globally, which will help us to actually be more climate friendly. And I think quantum will help that.
Awesome. That's a nice segue into the next question I have. So we seem to have identified 4 pillars when it comes to quantum. We have computing, we have communication, sensing, and metrology and security. Right. So you spoke about security already. Can you speak about the budget allocation for this? How are we putting this to work, and what are some milestones that we are working towards, and how has been our progress so far?
So if you look at the National Quantum Mission, 4,000 crores was directly given to the National Quantum Mission through DST. And in addition to that, 3,000 crores have been allocated by different other ministries. So Department of Space, Department of Atomic Energy, Department of Defense, and MeitY are all putting the next 3,000 crores. So in a manner, we have 7,000 crores, which is a very nice sum to start with. And therefore, I think money is not the issue. It's our ambition that's the issue. It's the aspiration that's the issue. So when the original cabinet note was created, it was created 3 years ago. Many changes have occurred since then.
That's right.
But we are still working on the original targets that we had set for ourselves, because you have to work on certain targets that the government has identified. So these targets have been given to all the researchers to achieve. So for example, we are looking at 1,000 qubits in 4 to 5 years. I don't believe 1,000 qubits is good enough. So I'm actually encouraging startups and corporates and researchers to look beyond the 1,000 qubits. Look, 4 to 5 years, we should have 250,000 to 500,000 qubits. If we don't get there, others will be there in any case. Okay. So IBM has announced that they will have 1 million qubits in 2030. Now we need to think like that. How do we get there? We need to do some strategic decisions we have to make where we say we need to do leapfrog in certain technologies. So this is something that I'm trying to work within the system to ensure that we can go much further than the 1,000 qubits. The second part that we are working on is communication. So communication today, we have tested in India for 250 kilometers, completely secured communication, quantum secure. One of our startups, we have given them 30 odd crores to make a 500 kilometer secure network. Wow. Hopefully by next month, they will have it ready.
Nice.
It's already there in the labs. We now have taken actual location in India, in the army. So that will be 500 kilometers. But we need to go to 2,500 kilometers, both on fiber as well as space. So ISRO is working on that for space, So this is the second big piece. The third very big piece is all the sensing. Now sensing, we have a beautiful hub in IIT Bombay. We have fantastic researchers there. The lady who heads the hub there, 𝗀𝗶𝗃𝗂𝗰𝘁, is a fantastic scientist. Now, they are convincing me that they will achieve everything that we have set out to do.
Awesome.
And she's very confident that she will have products available. So already a few products have been made available by them. For example, she was telling me that she's created, her name is 𝗀𝗂𝗃𝗂𝗰𝘁. She has actually created a product by which if we put a chip for sensing with her product, it can sense whether it has a trapdoor or not.
Oh, okay.
So you see, what our concern for imported chips today is that if China puts a trapdoor on a chip and takes all the data back to China, we won't even know.
Right.
But this product will sense it and tell you, is there a trapdoor or not? So these kind of things are what are developing. I think tomorrow's navigation will be done through quantum sensing, not the current GPS that you use. GPS will get spoofed by your competition.
We have heard enough of
yes.
those, even in
so
the plain GPS.
Quantum sensing will enable that to be absolutely secure. See, for example, for naval applications underwater, quantum will be the only thing that will help you because GPS will be spoofed.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing insight, I must say. And I think as we are making progress through institution, government, policy, even the strategy, to accelerate this, we still need to get a vast human network of our talent to get directed. I think India did reasonably well in the earlier way where we were coding for others, we were the back office to the world. But I think in this AI era where we spoke about, where your research, patent, your IPs, thinking AI and quantum-led products and solution is the core.
Yes, absolutely right.
How do we prepare this talent pool? Because when you go to every single city, I think people have lived and they've lived in this space, right? But this world is changing fast. And I think this question is also to a lot of folks who are into tech industry across the country and beyond. When they are thinking about their career, they are thinking about reskilling themselves to be more relevant for the world that's going to be very different than what it is today. How should they be prepared and be thinking ahead?
See, the story really starts in schools and colleges and the universities. Today, none of the institutions teach you how to make a product. So this is something where I have been personally going and meeting the AICT chairman and requesting him to start putting product design into every curriculum. And when a product has to be made, even if electronic product has to be made, you need to know plastics, you need to know mechanical, you need to know heating and cooling, you need to know electronics, you need to know semiconductor.
It's multidisciplinary.
It's multidisciplinary.
Yep.
So unless every discipline teaches how to make a product, this is not going to get solved. And what I tell every engineer that I meet, don't be satisfied with the engineering that you are trying to do today. I call it having a range, which has, for example, it's like a T.
Yes.
The top of the T is where you know many other things. The bottom of the T is the depth with which you know one subject. So that range is required for people to understand. The world is going to be multidisciplinary, it's not going to be single. Earlier, it went from specialization to micro-specialization. All that era is going away. It's going to be an era where people will know more than what is required from their curriculum that has been taught.
Yes.
So when I started IIT Hyderabad, the first thing I told my director is that I don't want nerds coming out of here. I want people who actually know more than their subject. So we created a teaching methodology where he created something called small subjects of each, fractals he called it. And we had 36 subjects like this of 1 credit or half credit. And each student had to take electronics as the main and select 6 subjects like this. So that when they come out, they're not just nerds, they know more.
Yeah. So connecting the dots, build your domain expertise in one, but you know how that connects.
Yeah.
It's like one of the famous things I had picked somewhere, that you can be an inch wide and a mile deep,
Yes.
or a mile wide and inch deep. But
Yes.
I think what you're saying is get the depth, but also combine
Yes.
it with
The range
width.
is very important.
Absolutely.
Range is
Brilliant. Very well said.
Like the story about Steve Jobs and fonts that we have today that came out of his calligraphy class.
Yeah.
And that's a technologist getting involved in something artistic, producing an innovation.
Yes, yes. See, that's what, AI is all about. Having all kinds of knowledge, which is not just simple mathematics or calculation. It's much beyond that.
Absolutely. So, and deep tech and AI startups often face this long R&D cycles and high failure rates, obviously, right? And how do we build a culture that embraces failure and also this idea of patient capital? Like, what needs to change in the ecosystem to sort of help this flourish?
See, that is where the RDI fund that the government has created will help. Because what they are saying is that we are going to make sure that it is more patient than what it was before. So there will be a 10,000 crores put away for a fund of funds, which will then go to VCs. And the VCs will be very clearly told that accept failure and accept the fact that it will need more R&D. Because R&D is the objective behind the RDI fund. But I think one of the good things that's happening now is that a lot of deep tech VCs are coming up in the country. People think there are one or two. No. There are at least 20, 30 out there who are thinking like this and investing into patient capital into startups. For example, I am part of the Indian Angel Network Fund, and we are looking, we have put aside a certain amount specifically for taking risks. So let's say our fund is 750 crores, 150 crores we are putting away for long-term stuff. Deep tech is long-term. Deep tech takes longer in terms of R&D, and you have to take risks.
No, so I think on the same line, you co-launched $150 million India UAE VC fund, and I think a lot of that is around deep tech, AI, and the research. And
Yeah, the government did that, not me, but the government did that during the recent Semicon, where they announced a very large fund like that. And I think what I feel is that, as I said earlier, the RDI fund, the new VCs that are coming up now, all of these are going to help the ecosystem. And we must make it easier for more funding to come into startups by opening up areas which have not yet been opened up. Like globally, insurance companies and pension funds are opened up to invest into startups also. This is something that we have not done. If we open up that, there's enough funding available in the country. Look at the amount of money that is sitting inside insurance companies alone. True. So I think we cannot just remain dependent on global funding. We should have our own sources of fund also, and they are available. So if we do the right thing, we can do it.
I think you are so active into this, and you are also seeing a lot of startups. Some you were just talking to us before we got onto this shoot. What are some of the interesting things you are seeing through the lens of meeting and connecting with many of these deep tech startups that you get to meet, mentor, invest in?
No, well, there's a lot of excitement in AI chips. And there are some good companies that are coming up in the country. I can't name any of them because I am under an NDA with them.
Sure.
But you will find that they will have some terrific products to talk about in the next 3 to 4 years. I would love to see some startup challenge NVIDIA. Okay, why should only NVIDIA rule the world? I think we need to have something alternative coming out of India, hopefully. Yeah. The second area that I feel which will be very interesting is AI, obviously. There's a lot happening in AI. Just a few days ago, I saw an AI which I shared with you. Yes. The AI product can actually feel. Yeah. This is something that I have not seen. Humanizing AI. Yeah, so this is something that will happen. The other area that I think will happen is that solving problems of India. So, few of us started to work together with this Professor Jhunjhunwala in IIT Madras. Yeah. He created this fantastic research park. But when he retired, he came to some of us and said, look, I don't want to retire. I want to do something more for the country. So will you guys come and invest with me and take it forward? So he set up this company where we have defined 15, 20 problems for the country. One of the problems which is very interesting, which really fascinates me, is the whole idea of the problem that all cities face, where water, when rains come, water becomes stagnant and nothing happens.
Yeah.
He's working with certain research institutes and startups to solve that problem. Okay, look, if we can solve that problem, the Bangalore that you see today will be a different Bangalore 2 years later.
Yeah.
You know, 𝘀𝗏𝗏 that we see today will be different. See, you can't go and create more sewers all over the place. It's not possible in a big city. So all these kind of things are going to happen. For example, how do you move? Today it takes 2.5, 3 hours to get from airport to Bangalore city. Why can't we solve the problem and make it in 20 minutes? These are all problems that we can solve. So these are the kind of things that he and his team are doing, and we are all cooperating and working together. A lot of us want to make sure that these kind of innovations happen in India, and we can solve problems that till yesterday looked unsolvable. So this is something which is happening in India. And the most interesting part that I saw, which Professor Ashok Jhunjhunwala has done, is that he is encouraging tier 2, tier 3 startups to come in. And he's saying some of these tier 2, tier 3 startups are hugely brilliant. They're suddenly opening up to what is available in the country. And funds are available, technology is available. And he is making sure that different professors are actually helping them from different institutes.
I've heard you speak at various forums, and over a period of time you've been trying to wake people from their slumber, right? To develop a different mindset and attitude. So one observation that we are picking up also is in our response as collective culture in India, we need a crisis for coming up with something innovative or novel, like what happened during COVID. Do we need a crisis, or can this be done in a different way? Is there a cultural reboot that's needed?
Already the crisis is on us, of technology sovereignty. We don't have technology sovereignty.
Absolutely.
All hardware is Chinese, right? And American companies are leading in software. We also have DPI. But we need to think big. And we need to also do things on our own. And in some areas where we can't do things on our own, we should collaborate. What's the problem? So that's the way I look at it. I think it's very important that we understand that crisis is there today. This crisis has to be looked at very seriously, and technology sovereignty is what is going to solve this problem. If we don't think of a software stack and we don't think of a hardware stack, we have real trouble. Absolutely. I mean, software and hardware are two sides of the same coin.
Right.
And we need to have both.
Right. What a fascinating conversation. I think we could have gone on and on. Such an enriching conversation. Thank you so much. You've seen many revolutions happen over time, from microcomputers to AI to quantum now. I'm really inspired by the energy you bring into every single one of those. And the key takeaways for me, aspiration greater than resources. I think you're making a great point about the qubits. Don't think about 1,000, think about 250,000 or 250,000. I think that's a grand vision, and I'm pretty sure under your leadership and your guidance, we'll get there.
Thank you.
No, absolutely, Rajiv. I think what struck me, Dr. Chaudhary, was how you brought special light on quantum, semiconductor, and AI, and how all these three are interconnected to redefine how India should be thinking in a technology-led world. The urgency is like never before. I think the wake-up call was long back, but fortunately, if we start now, not just waking up, but start running towards redefine how we work, live, secure our future, and also bring the research, the work, and the policy all together to accelerate this pace of innovation and growth. I think that's a great insight, and the urgency and passion with which you brought this, I think it's amazing. And I'm sure for the audience who are watching it, Many of them will draw inspiration from this and think of how they can do what they are doing better and think connecting through the T model.
Yes.
Amazing insight to see that build your core strength, but also connect the dots with many other areas to create products which are world class, solving for India, but also building for the world. So thank you very much for being part of the show.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure
And
talking to both of you.
thank you so much. And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you follow Clearing the Blur and do recommend us to your colleagues and friends who might be interested in these topics. And we'll be back next time with another guest and another conversation. We'll be on our journey to clearing the blur. Until then, stay curious.
And absolutely, like we said, every time every speaker brings in the great insights to not just clear the blur, but hopefully make you more smarter as you keep watching. So follow, share, and let your biggest takeaways from Dr. Chaudhary come back with the feedback. We'll keep questioning, keep building, and we'll keep clearing the blur.